Hello, Instagram friends. It's Thursday, and Jean and I are doing another intimacy talk, which we have been doing for the last 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, on various topics regarding sexuality, intimacy, relationship, Tantra, Tantric Sex, both men and for women. So today we decided to have a conversation about Tantric Sex, what people really believe it is, and what are the common misconceptions about it. We're going to share about our personal experiences and what it can be for you if you choose to go that route and experiment and forget about all the pornographic, performance-based sex and delve into the mystery of the tantric sex. So feel free to ask your questions here while we're having this conversation with Jen. Also post them afterwards, any comments or any questions you have about your own experience, and anything else that you would like to know from us. And we would love to answer those questions. Okay, Jen is coming in. Hello, beautiful.
Hi, Iryna.
So good to have you here again. And now we are having a talk about tantric sex, a really
Yes,
intriguing topic.
it
And
is.
a
It's
lot
a
of,
popular one.
yeah, very popular, very intriguing. A lot of people have various ideas of what it may be. And it's indeed like there's so many various beliefs and misconceptions. And I wanted to ask you first, what are your clients when they come to you and they want to experience or learn from you? Oh, I want to be able to have tantric sex with my partner. What is
Yeah,
that? And how can I learn this and all of that? So tell me more of your experience.
yeah. I was happy to share what I have heard and noticed. Let's first start with some what I've heard from my clients, especially when they started working with me. When they describe, so I always ask them, "What's your desire? Just tell me what we'd like to explore to improve your intimacy, your confidence, right, in your sex and love life." So one thing has they shared is, "Oh, I want to be able to have this tantric sex." So, oh, tell me more about it, because I want to make sure like they have the same thing we're talking. So what I've heard often was, the kind of sex you can have for long hours. I'm always curious, like as a client, I'm always curious, how can they do that? But I'm curious how to get there. Or, I didn't know before, but my partner wants it. So lasting long hours is definitely a very a key word,
Yeah.
in this. Yes, yeah. Although it's very mysterious.
Indeed. Um, in and it's not wrong actually.
No.
Tantric sex uh, is this experience you can put yourself into consciously and be in it for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we start going into it, what it is exactly and what it is for me personally, it is a meditative experience with my body that I have, where I'm 100% present to the sensations and I'm present to my partner, and we both have an exchange that's happening. And our bodies are so open, the channels, the energy channels in our bodies are so open, that it's so unencumbered, that energy flows, and hence it happens so that we can last for a long period of time. But it doesn't mean that this whole entire time it's only penetration.
No. Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
It's like there's like an activities that are happening. It's the foreplay, it's the intercourse, it's the massage that's happening maybe before to open the whole body and those energy channels.
Yes.
And it's the ambience that's set as well. It's communication that maybe happened before. It's like the whole entire thing. You
Mm-hmm.
prime yourself, your brain, to go to drop so deeply into the sensations. And you, because we live in such an industrial, busy, unpresent world, we have to consciously like create that space for us to get into that presence and only pleasure. And we aid ourselves with music, with lighting, with maybe some food that are delicious, maybe communication about certain
Mm-hmm.
things, and
Yeah.
then we go into the actual, the body practice. And in my experience, it's always different. It was each partner, of course, it's different. And every time I would engage into that or intend for that specific sex, because at this point I don't have any other kind of sex. I mean, I do like in the morning, like some squeaky
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
thing. But this tantric sex is like, it does. You have an intention that you put out, like I want to experience this, and then you set the space, and then you have the whole thing going, and energy always different, and it's so
Yeah.
fascinating. It's never the same, and it's
No.
never like repeatable, and that what I love about it. Because if
Yeah.
you eat the same food every single day, or if you have the same sex, in a certain order, you
Yeah.
go down on her, he goes down, and she goes down on you. Then there's penetration, and then it's over. It's like a usual scheme.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then
That's what
when it
make
comes,
people bored
yeah, it's like people get
sometimes.
bored, and then
Yeah.
they go and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I need something new, some variety. And we all need variety. We all humans are so, we want our brain to be entertained by something else. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to tantric sex, there's always, wow, like I thought that last time was like the peak of everything I've ever had or experienced, but
Uh-huh.
no, this time is different, and then the next time is
Yeah.
different, and I'm just used to this. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what excites me, because it's never the same. It's
Yeah.
not boring. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a lot of depth.
Yes. So I
That's my
absolutely agree
experience.
with that. Yes, yes. The all of the beauty, a big part of why tantric sex is fascinating is because it's so present, which means it can come up anything, any forms of energy and connection and ecstasy can come up in that presence.
Yeah.
Correct? Even with the same partner, because our energy is so alive, and when we come together and play together in a sexual way, or even start with eye gazing before any sexual touch or encounter, right? And that the feeling, the intimacy feeling, is already started in the very beginning. Yeah. So what I share with people about what is it like about tantric sex is if we think the the pornography style or the normal style of intercourse as a conventional sex, then tantric sex is like two instruments, a body, our body as instruments play together,
Mhm.
and you can make a melody. And it will not be this exact the same each time. And that's why it's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. And also, there needs to be a space created,
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know, where there's no space for any limited beliefs about, because when we have sex, we humans, we have insecurities, we have fears, we have all these like little shitty little things that are
Our
sitting in our
voice.
minds. And
Yeah.
so for those, they cannot exist in that space. You have to be so present with what is and so open with what is and just welcome everything that's coming. And if something is coming that's like, ooh, wow, that's edgy. Oh wow, that's gonna
Yeah.
yeah, that can be transmuted in that moment, so it can be healing.
Mm-hmm.
Or otherwise, there's going to be a block created for moving forward. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and also, because all chakras are on board, or, heart chakra,
Energy center. Yes.
yeah, the
Yes.
energy centers are on board, there is this fluidity and this, very synchronistic and beautiful melody that comes out when people play together and on the same page and have this like and have an intention of giving and receiving and not an intention of anything like taking and just
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things involved when it comes to people learning how to have tantric sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
It's totally, I would say what it looks like is if there's a camera and record what's going on, I would say from the lens, it looks like not much going on, just up on the outside. However, it's a lot going on
internalized.
between people involved because they can be so present and the sensations are very much alive. All the senses. That's why the sex is different at a different level. It's because people are not just primary have the urge and involve in genitalia, right? And have the regular intercourse, but they have the entire body and presence involved. So that's super, I would say that make it secret,
Yeah,
deepen the connection so much more
yeah,
without saying anything.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
I have a few things to add from the personal experience.
go for it.
I think it was the last time we made love with my partner. Um, I put an intention to have a very open-hearted, experience.
Hmm.
And I chose that type of music, and we did massage and everything. And what really happened, the intention realized itself 100%. Um, I it didn't go to a place of like this passionate, sexual, edgy, wild place, which I actually wanted. It went to a place of like completely like the higher realm where I would
Okay.
look at my partner and I would bawl and I would cry and I was just like, oh my God, I love you so much. And that what needed in that moment. And it was welcomed, because if I were to be stuck in my desire to have this edgy and passionate and wild and wouldn't accept what was actually happening for me, it would not be a pleasant experience. And we both were like, more in the heart and less in the genitals even. And we were laughing and crying, and I was just in deep reverence for my partner. It was like another layer of heart openness for me towards him and who he is as a man.
Mm.
So that was just an interesting sort of kind of like, weaving of a tune or whatever, however you can call it. But
Mm-hmm.
I welcomed it. I'm just like, yeah, it's beautiful. It's okay. And there was other times where we would start and I would feel a little off, and I was just like, I don't think I want to continue. I think I am full. I think it's
Okay.
I'm good where I am.
Yeah. You can
And
tell where you are. Yeah.
yeah, and so this
Mm-hmm.
is, I guess, a lot of us humans, when we make love, we're so attached to like it has to be a certain way. It has to be with orgasms, mind-blowing orgasms, multiple orgasms. It's supposed to be this way and that way, and we're supposed to change positions, and like it's like a circus we're supposed to be. But no, there's nothing to do with that at all. Is to do is like, where's your energy in this moment? What's your intention? What would you like to
Yeah.
experience? And then just let that happen, um, without your mind to like judging. Oh, I kind of wanted this experience, like the receiving
Mm-hmm.
by orgasms. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not going. It's not going. Let it be, and just be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is
Yeah.
how I relate to
It's
my.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That experience reminds me, your sharing reminds me of what one of my Tantra teachers, Sarita, told us, the students, there were two key words in Tantra, and that will apply to Tantric sex as well, as one is love, the second one is meditation. Tantra has its own definition, right? But when we talk in plain English, what it is, it's really wave love and meditation together. You cannot have Tantra, just only have one without another.
Mm-hmm.
And in sex, what makes it extra awesome is love meditation plus you have infused with sexual energy. That's
Yeah,
what
and
what
that,
magic.
yeah.
That's what magic happens.
And that's
Yes.
why we
Yeah.
go into, if we allow for all of these components to be at play and let them, roll, um, and not have mind be involved, but just be in the sensations and
Hmm.
this loving open space, and also deeply in the body, it can produce unbelievable energy that is magical, and you can just go into like spiritual realms to
Yeah.
like and be there
Yeah.
and have like visions and insights and downloads and all the things
Hmm.
that and can be also healing. um
Hmm.
so it is an incredible experience if we let ourselves really go there with no
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
limit the least.
Hmm. It is a sacred space. And I also fully acknowledge when I heard people express, you know, their doubt or fear to me, because I totally understand. It is sacred space. It requires a lot of trust and safety. to fully be yourself and to surrender to feel whatever you feel. And that can be quite a scary process, even thinking about it, because in our day-to-day life, we are not trained. Well, actually, we're trained not to do that. We're trained to make fast decisions, to meet the deadline, and make things happen quicker. If we can make it happen quicker, just don't wait, right? And pornography getting more and more accessible. So all those combined influence really give us a message that just get it quick, get it done, right? Don't wait. Um, so when we talk about concept and practice of tantric sex and getting to the sacred space to be seen, to see your partner and to co-create, to be present with what's coming up, it is so anti-norm. It is so scary. So I really do want to mention that whoever right now is listening or listen later, the replay, right? If you feel any fear or uncertainty or doubt, you are not alone. This comes up all the time.
Yes, tantric sex is so intriguing and so fascinating, but at the same time, in order to move to that place, each of us in relationship and individually must have to understand that the intimacy level that it brings you to, which is deep and fucking fearful and scary, and like, too much. It's too much for some people to handle. Everybody wants that beauty and ecstasy, but a lot of people, once they hit that scary moments, they back off. Oh my God, no, it's too much for me. So if you know that this is like what you want, eventually you have to also know that you have to go through a certain downward spiral, deep, kind of like take a deep into the darkness of your soul and your heart and whatever it is that you accumulated throughout years of living. If you're ready for it, on the other side, there's a lot of beauty. If not, then you're gonna feed yourself with McDonald's food maybe for a lifetime, but that's not satisfying.
Yeah, it sounds like it's similar to many significant self-growth, right? It's always hit a wall and goes through a dark tunnel, but if we have proper guidance and consistency and determination, and the other side of the tunnel is way more beautiful.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, for our audience, for people who are watching this right now and who are going to be watching this, for people who are just familiarizing themselves with this concept of tantric sex and would like to experience and are curious, what would you recommend? Maybe there's like 3 things you could recommend for people to focus on, or maybe there's resources you can recommend, whatever it is.
Okay. Wow. It's hard to name just 3 things, but I will do my best.
Okay. Name as many as you can.
Yeah, I'll do my best. And I will let you watch the time for our lifetime. Sure. So first, I always start with to clarify the understanding, because a lot of people, when they want to practice where to start for a beginner, the first thought usually I heard is skills, right? It's just like techniques, skills. Tell me how to touch. Tell me how to do tantric massage, right? And how to have this very erotic fingering skills, right? All this stuff. I said, yes, that's awesome, and you're gonna learn, but probably not to start with learning skills. When people start with paying overly emphasizing or paying overly attention on techniques, they probably can get a quick gratification, and then don't really get the treasure of the practice. And what that will look like is, oh, I check the box, but it doesn't do much. Okay, next go. You know,
Mhm.
and then it just keep chasing. So the first I always say like, you don't have to learn any extra skills, but the first thing is to learn how to slow down and do some movements in a very slow motion. That's a key. And for different people, I would suggest different things. I'll give a few examples. I would suggest eye gazing. Let's say I advise a partner, right? If they both want to practice together, so practice eye gazing first and how start with 1 minute and increase to 3 minutes. And when they're good with eye gazing, I say, okay, we're going to add touch your hands plus eye gazing. You
Mhm.
know, just getting more and more comfortable that how you can be look still, two people are still together, and that I actually create a lot of momentums. And
Yeah.
then it's also a very beautiful moment to notice like, oh my gosh, my mind chatters never stops. Okay, focus, refocus. That's why we call it it's very meditative,
Yeah.
right? But it's not the seated meditation. When you're eye gazing with people while your hands touched, first 3 minutes, try it with someone you feel comfortable with. You don't have to be a romantic partner together. Just try. You will notice there's so many things you will observe on this person, which you probably haven't had the time for before.
Yeah.
So that's a very basic step. I would say anybody can do it. You can do it seated or
Mhm.
standing, right? I recommend seated. So there's some small, very non-threatening practice like that, so that make people like feel comfortable, like, oh, I can do this. I can quiet down. I can be a meditative process without being seated, a meditation, like always in a lotus pose. So the second is to engage your five senses, right? It's for any gender, engage your five senses. Some people may be more comfortable with engaging with a touch first. Some people maybe with a talking, a listening first. It's okay, right? No matter which sense you start with, engage your five senses and really feed your five senses first, right? Because for example, if I know what kind of scent I love to smell, I will take time to smell that. And
Mhm.
first feed yourself, and second is feed each other.
Mhm.
When you practice with a partner, like now you have a checklist. Oh, this is the five senses of the five senses preference on my partner, and this is my partner. This is my preference. And then we'll take, let's say, take 1 minute each. We feed each other, right?
Love it.
My
Mhm.
partner will bring my favorite scent for me to sniff, and he will talk something that under in my preference list. For example, that's how it's called feeding a sense, right? It really doesn't cost much at all. But when you do that, just in 10 minutes, you switch 2 minutes, 1 minute each, you switch just within 10 short minutes. You will notice, wow, how I feel about myself and how I connect with this person
Mhm.
really is different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so essentially engaging into meditative, very slow practice of exchanging energy and then activating your senses, which brings you
Yes.
more into your body, and then how
Mm-hmm.
much you can be open to sitting in meditation for 3 minutes, staring at another person's eyes. Even people who live together for years, when they do this practice, they're like, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
very vulnerable. I was like, yeah.
Super, super, super vulnerable. Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that's
And
the one of the conditions to tantric sex. Like you have to be vulnerable, you have to be open, and you have to have
yeah.
your heart on board in order
Mm-hmm.
to move into that space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we gather naturally. We gather making small progress. Right? Because if we overstretch our comfort zone, we will enter the yellow or red zone. We call it red zone, which means, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I overwhelmed. I have so much negative talks in my mind. What am I doing? Okay, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get there, right? That's why I suggested, 1 minute. Anybody can do 1 minute eye gazing, and then we improve to 2 or 3. You can hold hand and say nothing for 1 minute. And then we're going to do next one, next one, next one. You probably doesn't feel like I have done much, but hey, if you practice for a month, look what happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also would recommend to add to this, and thank you for sharing this, Jen. Before maybe you involve yourself um, in a partnered meditation, so to
Yep.
speak,
Hmm.
learn to do it on your own. Have like
Yes.
as your own personal tantric practice, so to speak, where you're meditating, where you're looking within, feeling all your sensations, feeling your genitals, expanding your heart, being in that space. Because how can you be a good lover, a good tantric lover, if you
Hmm.
cannot know how to make love to yourself? Uh,
Yes.
so that is like one of the other thing that if you are keen on this idea, okay, I'm just gonna go and learn the tantric sex. Okay, I read all these books. Um, yeah, you have to like do the practices daily um, with your partner and by yourself,
Hmm.
and be human about it and humble about it, because not always it's gonna be like, I don't know, ecstatic. Sometimes
Yeah,
it'll be a little edgy and a little uncomfortable, and that's
it
totally
is.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so I love all that you just added. It's all beautiful. And again, for beginners, I would say when they're ready, when they are feeling comfortable with, eye gazing, hand holding, and also feeding the senses, the next is to move into learn different ways to touch, learn different ways to touch, right?
Yeah,
And that applies to
we're
everywhere.
sorry, I interrupt you. We have a little bit of time left. You can finish,
Oh,
but then it will be over.
okay. Got it. Yeah, that's, I mean, I can even talk about touch topic for an hour, but I'm not going to do that. I'm aware of the time. I also want to point out that's where the meditation, meditative movement will merge with techniques. Because it start with touch, how to touch skin, how to touch different areas of the body, different speed, different pressure, and that's very yummy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. All of it, every single item you described requires slowness, presence, attunement to what is now. And if
Hmm.
you are a man listening to this and you are, wanting, desiring to learn all this stuff, you
Yeah.
gotta let go of the ideas of performing and thinking about, am I going to be hard enough to do this?
Yeah, yeah,
Or will I
yeah,
last for a long time? It does not matter. It does not matter if you
absolutely.
make love with your whole
Yeah,
entire beingness, and that's what you need
uh-huh,
to focus on. So yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that was
So,
beautiful.
yeah, do we have time for some questions? I don't know if we have questions here. Yeah.
I don't see anybody asking anything,
Okay.
but if anybody wants, we welcome any comments or questions, please, about whatever you heard from us, or if you have any specific questions we may answer. We love questions. We may go on and on and on, because both of us been doing this for a while. And we may
Yep.
forget where beginning people are. So you gotta remind us and ask us questions. And if you don't have questions right now, please feel free to post them in the comments and we'll respond.
Yeah. If you watch replay, drop your any, observations or it says, yes, I absolutely agree with certain things. If you have same experience, also let us know. Welcome that or ask any questions in the comment.
Yeah, and so just let you know before we wrap up, we're doing this every Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's a 30-minute conversation. We throw different topics beforehand. So next one, I suspect, is going to be a talk on erotic blueprints, which I'm so excited about because this is Jean's domain, and I have a lot of questions for her about it. So,
Oh.
uh, so yeah, join us next Thursday for the live about erotic
Hmm.
blueprints, and watch this in the replay. We have some comment. I was so focused on listening, don't really have any questions. Thanks for enlightening.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
really welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here. Hope you
Yeah.
got some wisdom from this.
Yeah, I hope you got more if you have never heard of this before, and I hope you are intrigued and got some awesome information. You know, both Iryna and I are coaches. We help men and women to have the sex and love life and relationships they desire. If you're interested in finding a custom solution for yourself, you can reach out to either of us. We're happy to have a call with you.
Yes, please reach out. We do, I personally do free connection calls, and I think Jen as well. So yeah, book a call. Don't be shy. If you want to take your sex life to the next level, now's
Yeah,
the
it's
time.
the first step you can do, and
Yes.
without cost, right? How good is that?
Yeah, we are here for you. We want your sex life be magnificent.
Yeah.
All right, love. Until next Thursday.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.